Hey guys, welcome to Flat Top King. Hey, today is all about the Pit Boss Ultimate Griddle 6-month review. We've been patient, we've made our notes, and I hope this will help you along the way. The good, the bad, the ugly, the truth. It starts now. All right, personally, before we get started, it's almost like a disclaimer. When you unbox something, you put it together, you have your initial thoughts. You have your idea based on the information that you've been given. This review is not like that. This is coming straight from the horse's mouth. This is only my personal experience. Everybody else's experience could be completely different. So we're going to cover some very basic things that I've learned along the way. And hopefully you guys will take the knowledge if you guys are in the market for the Pit Boss Ultimate Griddle and take it to your advantage. So your learning curve is a lot faster than my learning curve. All right, so basically this is how we're going to do it. I'm going to just flat out tell you guys what I like about the griddle. I'm also going to tell you what I don't like about the griddle. And at the end, I'm going to tell you what I wish I'd have known when I very first got the griddle that I've learned along the way. Let's get started. Very first thing, I think the biggest positive I can see that I really enjoyed from day one is maintenance. When we talk about maintenance, we're talking about you don't have to worry about seasoning the initial time. You don't have to worry about re-seasoning. You don't have to worry about rust. You're going to treat this just like a skillet inside the house. It's very dry, as you can see. For me, it's just worry-free. There are certain times we get the question all the time, still today, and I battle it all the time. Why do you cook on this griddle? Why do you cook on that griddle? We have multiple griddles we cook on. Sometimes it's out of laziness. Sometimes it's out of my wife moving stuff around on the deck. Sometimes it's about a time crunch. And sometimes I don't feel like cleaning it up. It's just a dirty skillet. We've got kids, we've got family, and we've got life, right? You come out here, you throw some dinner down, and you're not worried about how well or how not well you're going to treat the flat top after you're done. It's just a simple soap and water method. We'll get back to that later, and you're done. All right, another thing that I like about the griddle, kind of coincides with number one. This is going to be number two. Less oil. This unit just takes naturally less oil to get by. First of all, I'm going to do a quick compare to a rolled steel style griddle. A lot of times when you put your food down, you would oil the whole surface. At least I do, because when you do that, when your griddle is heating up, you'll notice that you start the seasoning process, right? You're going through the process of seasoning. Since you don't have to worry about this, you don't have to worry about applying oil to the whole surface. If you're only going to use this side today with eggs or bacon, sausage, whatever, burgers, there's no reason to add oil to the rest of your skillet or the rest of your flat top. With that being said, that is an advantage. That's a pro. We use way less oil, way less butter, which means cleaning and maintenance is so much less because you're only in a controlled area. All right, number three. One of the things I really like about it, and we've done it in the past, we took it on a camping trip when we had a big family get-together, is basically a lift-off feature. You've got hooks on both sides. I've mentioned it before. And this whole unit comes off. The base stays. And then you can take this griddle on the go. That seems like a very, very hot topic for a lot of RVers, for a lot of people camping, for a lot of people that want a 2-burner system or a 6-burner, 4-burner at their house. This is a great unit to go. Number four, we're talking about side shelves, okay? Initially, it was a pro, and I'm still standing by my guns. I like the idea that the shelves are a little bit lower than normal. They do that so you can take the feature off to go. But what it does, I'm not worried about my water bottles burning. It doesn't get extremely hot beside it. I lay my tools down, and it's just not a big deal. Do you notice it? You probably do, because I go back and forth to multiple griddles. For the average person that only has one griddle, once you get used to it, you're never going to notice it. With that being said about accessories, let me show you this. We kind of made fun of it in our opening box. I said, don't get caught up in the small things when it comes to buying a griddle. We've got a great video called Pros and Cons, and then we backed it up with things to consider. So we've got 2 great videos you guys can check out about all the differences in our griddles. The one thing that's held true is the dang paper towel holder. I know what you're thinking. For some reason, I just always know where they're at. Before this, it was always a search project about where the paper towels are. And now they're always there. I didn't think I was going to like it, and I love the thing. Speaking of paper towels, there's a huge controversy going on. I get it every single day that you can't use regular paper towels on a rolled steel griddle because it leaves lint. You have to get the shop towels. I personally don't feel like there's a difference. When you're using the ceramic coated griddle, you don't have to worry about the blue towels. There is no lint. It goes back and forth. You're treating it just like a big skillet. Nothing's coming up. Nothing's leaving down. As long as you buy good paper towels, then it's not a big deal. Number 6, we're talking about how easy it is to clean. It's a positive, in my opinion. I've learned a lot along the way. I clean completely different now than what I did when I first started. Okay? This is why the 6-month review is so in-depth, is so important, because I've learned myself. Now, I just treat it like a skillet inside the house. When I'm done, I'll scrap all the grease to the grease cup. Come back here when it cools down a little bit, add a little water, a little dish detergent. I've got this fancy dancy scraper, but honestly, you can use just any type of sponge inside your house. I wouldn't bring it inside the house and out. I'd have one separate out here. And you just scrub it, just like soapy water. Rinse it off, wipe it off, and you're done. You don't put any oil back down or anything like that. You wouldn't do it to your ceramic coated skillets inside the house. It's not cast iron. It's not rolled steel. So you do not have to apply a thin layer of oil after you're done. Just leave it dry as can be. Okay, that to me is a very important positive, and it's something it's taken me a while to figure out. The last thing I'm gonna say about a pro is number 7, and it's an important feature in my opinion. A lot of people could care less. Is the actual build quality, the aesthetics, and the craftsmanship of the Pit Boss. I actually really enjoy it. But if you're looking at sturdiness, we move it all the time. You guys know we move it on the deck as much as anybody else does. Nothing's come loose. I haven't had my griddle warp yet, knock on wood. The hinge still, everything is just as sturdy as it was from day one. I love the color combination. Just wanted to take a quick break in the action and show you guys the new member of the family. Here it is. I've been asking for it. I had a really cool guy reach out. He's a veteran as well, and said that he really, really, really appreciated the way that I came across doing the videos. He felt like I was speaking directly to him and teaching him how to griddle. And the utmost respect in return was he makes things like this, and he reached out to me and said, I just wanted to send out a shout out to you for helping me griddle. And I could not be more ecstatic the way it came out. We have the American flag. It's kind of like the wooden broken up pattern I really love. Ultimate, it's got the Navy emblem on the side, which I'm just super stoked about. And a really cool saying that we had in the Navy as a CS, a culinary specialist. We may not be the lead of the fleet, but without us, the fleet won't eat. And I hold that still dear to the heart. I'm going to have all this information listed in the description down below. Joe, Waves of Grain, thank you so much. I hope somebody out there takes this to heart, reaches out to you for you doing me such a great solid. Just really emotional, proud, happy, ecstatic. I just absolutely, I love it. So thank you for all the people that reached out. It's got its home, perfectly centered, built, leveled. All right, let's get back to the action. All right, we talked about the goods. We talked about all the things that I like, okay? Now's the time for honesty, the truth, the ugly, whatever you want to call it. Now we're going to talk about things I don't like, and this is just coming from my personal opinion. All right, so here we go, okay? From day one, I'm actually surprised how much food does stick. The griddle is marketed for the idea of ceramic non-stick griddle. I probably took that a little bit too much literally. And I would assume in my mind when I started using it 6 months ago that almost no oil was needed at all. That's just not the case. It sticks a lot more than what I anticipated it doing. Over that time, we've had to come up with ways and solutions and band-aids and this and that and going back and forth. So ultimately, I use probably the same amount of oil and butter on this as I do on a flat top. The difference when I say use less is if you got a 36-inch griddle and you're only cooking, like half, then you don't have to worry about putting extra oils and butters down on your griddle. while you're seasoning. I don't think I use less oil when I'm actually cooking, but I don't try to use a lot of oil anyways. I try to use enough oil as the recipe needs. With the sticking comes utensils to get it off. When we very first got it, I was very frustrated. The plastic or the silicone utensils, in my opinion, just were not up to par with how good of a griddle it was. The griddle was outpacing the utensils. Hence, the wooden scraper that we found. We have descriptions for a lot of this stuff linked down below. I do not think I would like this griddle near as much if I would not found a wooden scraper. Other people have their own mechanisms, but there's still time when you take a smash burger, right? You take a steak, you take anything that needs that deep crush, that Maillard reaction, you have to help it get off the griddle the same way you would on a rolled steel. So there's no difference really in the tops right now. You still have to dig for that crust. You still have to get your stuff off of it. I do think there's a little bit more forgiveness when it does come to non-stick. But I haven't treated it like non-stick. It hasn't responded like non-stick. So for me, that's a negative. Number two, the things I don't like. I know some people can treat it as a positive, and there are certain situations I agree on, but ultimately it's become a bigger negative than it has a more positive. Okay, I've got the 3-burner. When they do that, you can see the size. You can see the size of the propane tubes. Notice how thin this is? It's because they're trying to take that amount of propane and spread it out to make it almost the idea of a 4-burner. Honestly, it just doesn't work like that. I'm going to show you why. When you have all your burners on, I'll work on getting this on later. When you have all your burners on at the same temp, this temperature here is extremely low. You notice how it's got like a little bit browning, blackish right there? That's because the oils will screech out and then it starts actually the seasoning process here. Notice how there's nothing over here? It just doesn't get hot enough to create that patch of oil to season with. Very few times do we actually cook the whole griddle surface. And so I treat this as a cool spot because I know for a fact it's cooler. And when I mean cooler, I mean cooler. So for me, I feel like it forces you to only use about 66% of the griddle consistently, which is right through here. And to be honest with you, a little bit more, since we're talking about the goods, the bads, the uglies, down here is extremely cool as well. So you've got about a 2 to 3 inch gap here that's extremely low temperature. And you got about a 4 to 5 to 6 inch gap here that's extremely low to temperature. So now you're only forced to focus with here. Now, that has never stopped me in creating incredible dishes, personally. It's never stopped me from to determine what griddle I'm going to use that day based off of a cool spot or a hot spot. I do not know about the 5-burner. I do not know about the 4-burner. I only know about the one I have. With that being said, once you know about it, then you use it to your advantage or disadvantage. Number 3, let's talk about metal utensils, okay? For some, it's a huge part of the griddle game. Some people swear by metal. Some people are okay with silicone. It's really whatever floats your boats. I will have to say this. You have to use that at your own risk, okay? I've said that many times before, and I stand by it today. The griddle surface is completely different between the ceramic versus the rolled steel. People ask me all the time, how is your griddle holding up since you're using metal utensils? Some people know that I use it. And I tell them all the time, it's fine. The griddle itself has not broken down. The griddle itself has not changed in any way, shape, or form. I just want to reiterate, there's a difference between certain metal spatulas, that's why I swear by this one, and other metal spatulas. Even though this is made by Pit Boss, right? They have a rolled steel type of griddle that they use. That's how they had griddles before they came out with a ceramic coated top. So these spatulas can be used in many different varieties. The difference is they're not made to go on the ceramic coated surface. They have their own line of spatulas now that are really good. They're firm, they're big, they're flexible. But, you know, I'm stuck in my ways and I still like to use my metal spatula. The difference is I know how to use them. So that's got to be buyer beware, okay? The one thing that I would recommend, if anything, don't use a sharp sided spatula. Use a round sided spatula. because it limits the amount of digging that you do on your griddle. And ultimately, you never, ever would use a bench scraper, right? That's metal. That's why I swear so much by my wood scraper. It acts as two things. It helps me get the crust up when I can't. And this is how I clean my griddle every single time with the debris, the oils, and stuff like that. Pit Boss in their owner's manual recommends not using metallic utensils. That's what they stand by. So once again, if you're going to use metal utensils, you have to use it at your own risk. All right, to finish up this review, things I wish I knew when I first got my griddle, which hopefully will help you guys out. It's a 1-2 combo. Everything ties in together. One, I wish I'd have known it was going to take less oil at the very end. Cleaning it, cooking on it was a breeze. The difference is I was adding oil to the whole surface after I was done closing the lid. And then the next day I was firing up the griddle for a video or for home. And you'll notice that my darkening is just a seasoning process, right? So my whole griddle was starting to season itself, and it's just unnecessary. When that happens, your discoloration starts happening, and you can either accept it or you can not accept it. I've seen both people on our Facebook group talking about it doesn't bother them because it's never affected my performance. And I've got other people that want their griddle to look brand spanking new 6 months from now like it did from day one. And I personally just think that's unrealistic. There's just too much stuff that goes on. So if I could give any brand new beginner griddler out there with the Pit Boss Ultimate Griddle, after you're done cleaning it, make sure it's dry and you're good to go the next day. That's number one. Right into number two. I have over cleaned my griddle. Why? Because I put too much oil on my griddle to begin with for the first few months. Probably for what do you think, 3 to 4 months ago? Or so maybe 2 months ago, I started the transition to like way less oil, keeping it dry. I end up hurting myself because of it, not physically. But basically what happens is with all that oil, you start building up your seasoning. Well, then I would turn around and start trying to clean it more often than what I should have. And I think over time, it just got to me, it got to the griddle to where I was deep cleaning it way more than necessary. So it's kind of like when stuff starts rolling downhill. That's the thing I wish I'd have known. You don't have to clean as much as what you think you do. Just treat it like a ceramic coated skillet. From day one, you cook on it, you clean up a little soap, get that oil off of there and keep it dry, and you'll be good to go. There you go, guys. The good, the bads, and the uglies. I just try to be 100% honest with you. My personal pros and cons, what I've dealt with, what I wish I'd have known then that I know today, right? Less oil. Clean it just like a skillet. And there's a lot of times, honestly, where I just come out and I actually use it more often than what you guys see. Because it's just so much easier to clean and I do not have to worry about the maintenance. If you guys have a question, reach out down below. I'd be more than welcome to answer anything you guys need. That's what this is all about, right? You learn, you move, and you grow. Thanks for watching. If you guys are interested, we have a join button down below. It's where you guys can help the channel. Check out the griddle group on Facebook. It's where we go back and forth to talk about griddles like this, whether it be the Blackstone, the Camp Chef, the Razor, the Members Mark, you name it, we do it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to press that subscribe button, pound the notification button, share it with your friends. The Pit Boss Ultimate Griddle review 6 months later. I'm pretty dang happy.